There's one signal your subconscious mind can't ignore, no matter what. And when you learn to use it, reality shifts fast. You're already sending it every day without knowing. Not through affirmations, not through visualization. Something quieter, deeper, a hidden frequency that bypasses resistance and speaks directly to the part of you that decides what's real. This silent signal shapes your self-concept. It tells your mind who you are and what world you live in. It programs your experience. If things haven't changed the way you wanted, this might be why. Because your subconscious isn't just listening to what you say, it's watching what you assume. And assumptions start with questions. Most people try to change their life with affirmations. I am wealthy, I am confident, but sometimes the mind resists. It says, that's not true. So nothing shifts. But here's what works better: strategic questions. Your subconscious loves solving puzzles. The moment you ask a well-crafted question, it locks on. It starts shifting your focus, thoughts, actions, even circumstances to find an answer that feels real. So if your inner voice asks, why do I always fail? Or what's wrong with me? Your mind will prove it right, every time. But flip the script. Ask, how did I become so confident? What made abundance so easy for me? Where did this success come from? Now the subconscious doesn't fight. It searches, it pulls evidence. It aligns your energy, behavior, and opportunities to match the new identity, the future you. These questions don't force change. They invite it, quietly, powerfully, from within. And in this session, you'll activate that mechanism. Not through effort, but through precision. You'll reprogram your inner dialogue so your subconscious starts building the reality you truly want. Because the right question doesn't just seek answers, it creates them. There's real science behind this power of questions. Researchers call it the mere measurement effect, a proven phenomenon where simply asking someone about a future action makes them more likely to follow through. In over 100 studies, people ask things like, will you eat healthier this year? Or are you planning to vote? Were significantly more likely to actually do it. Just by being questioned, their subconscious got nudged toward commitment. The mere act of considering the possibility planted a seed that grew into action, but it goes deeper. How a question is framed changes everything. Same facts, same person. But shift the wording, tone, or perspective, and suddenly decisions flip. The brain doesn't just process information. It responds to how that information is presented. And here's the wild part. Even thinking about certain questions can change your mind and your body. Remember the lemon test? Close your eyes for a second. Imagine I hand you a fresh lemon, bright yellow, cold in your palm. Now picture slicing it open, that sharp citrus smell bursting into the air. You bring it to your mouth, take a bite. Feel the sour juice flood your tongue, that tangy sting. Your mouth might already be watering, just from imagination. No real lemon, no actual taste. Yet your body reacted as if it were real. That's how fast and deep the mind-body connection is. And that's exactly what a powerful, well-crafted question does. It bypasses logic, triggers sensation, creates belief before proof, because your brain doesn't wait for reality. It creates it based on what you focus on, how you phrase it, and what mental images you feed it. So, when you ask the right kind of questions, especially the ones coming up next, you're not just thinking differently, you're rewiring perception, you're sending direct signals to your subconscious that begin shifting your energy, behavior, and experiences. A single question, properly shaped, doesn't just influence your mind, it hijacks it in the best way possible. And that's how real transformation begins. Every question you ask sends a direct signal to your subconscious mind, and it doesn't just hear it, it immediately goes to work, quietly and relentlessly. So if you ask yourself, why do I always have the worst luck? Your subconscious won't argue. It will start searching for reasons, evidence, experiences that prove it true. It will scan your memories, your emotions, your patterns, until it finds what fits. But change the question to, why am I so lucky? And something powerful happens. Your subconscious doesn't resist. It doesn't say, that's not real. It simply accepts the premise and begins hunting for proof. It shifts your attention, adjusts your behavior, filters your reality, even alters your inner chemistry, all to close the gap between the question and the answer it now believes must exist. This is the power of the open loop. The human mind hates unanswered questions. It feels compelled to resolve them, no matter how long it takes. So, when you plant a well-crafted question, you create an internal tension that only fulfillment can release. And here's the key. This process bypasses resistance. Unlike affirmations that may feel false and get rejected, a question slips through unnoticed. It doesn't force change, it invites it. Over time, your identity begins to shift. You start acting, thinking, and feeling like someone for whom the question is already true. And this is where manifestation accelerates. The moment you ask a question that assumes your desire is already real, your subconscious redirects your focus automatically and toward people, opportunities, and signs that align with that truth. You've been programming your reality all along. You just didn't know your most powerful tool was a simple, well-placed question. You don't need to figure anything out consciously. Your subconscious is already doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes without you noticing. It shifts how you feel, what you pay attention to, even how people respond to you, because its one job is clear. Close the gap between your inner assumption and your outer experience. It's like an invisible code running beneath your awareness, quietly reshaping your reality to match the truth you've implied through your questions. So if you want a new life, you don't have to force it into being. You just need to know how to guide your mind the right way. And one of the most powerful methods? Ask questions from the identity of the person who already has it, not from lack. Not from desire, from fulfillment. When you ask, how did I attract this so easily? Or why does abundance keep finding me? You're not wishing anymore. You're operating from the version of you that's already there, and that triggers a search that can only end in expansion. Now, we're going to activate this process, but with a deeper layer. You won't just ask from that empowered self. You'll step into what I call the God state, that highest version of you, the one beyond doubt, beyond struggle. Pure awareness, absolute certainty. When you combine well-formed questions with this elevated state, manifestation accelerates. Because at this level, your subconscious doesn't question your power. It doesn't hesitate. It simply obeys. Let's begin. Take a moment to get still. Settle your body. Gently close your eyes. Breathe in deeply through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. One more time, in and out. With each breath, feel your awareness drawing inward, back to the center of your being, back to the space within you that has always been here, beyond effort, beyond time, beyond limitation. As you rest here, notice a deep stillness rising, a presence filled with peace, clarity, unshakable power. This is pure awareness, the source of all creation. And right now, it's fully awake in you. And from this space, creation happens with absolute authority. This isn't aspiration. This is recognition. This is the truth of who you are, the origin point of every possibility, the center of the signal your reality responds to. You are not separate from the field. You are awareness choosing form. You are the observer shaping experience, the source of everything you're about to manifest, right here, right now. So don't think it, Feel it. Breathe into this presence. Let it expand within you and ripple outward, touching every area of your life. Notice how steady you are, how grounded, how powerful. Feel the alignment already moving through you, as if the universe has quietly shifted gears, and you're now in perfect sync with the version of you who already lives this reality. From this state, infinite, clear, sovereign, you will now speak your truth. Not from wanting, from knowing. These questions aren't wishes. They are declarations dressed as curiosity. You are speaking as the source, and your subconscious is listening and ready to obey. Now from this God state, ask as the one who already has it. Let each question sink into the silence like a seed. Your mind will do the rest. What if the shift has already happened, and my reality is just catching up? What if every detour was actually the fastest route? What new doors are opening that never existed before? What if I'm being guided by a higher intelligence that always knows the perfect path? What would it look like to surrender fully and let everything fall perfectly into place? What if life was meant to feel this easy all along? And if this new clarity is all the universe ever needed? Who is already being drawn to the real me? How is my energy already shaping spaces before I even walk into them? Why does joy now flow into every area of my life with almost no effort at all? What if I started expecting miracles and they began appearing on schedule? How is it that my mere presence awakens the best in others without me saying a single word? What if everything I touch now naturally turns into an opening, a blessing, a breakthrough? Which outcomes are now guaranteed simply because I've claimed them as mine? How is my frequency acting like a magnet, pulling the right people, moments and opportunities toward me? How is the energy I've activated effortlessly drawing all my desires closer? In what ways is life unfolding perfectly, in the exact rhythm that makes me feel most alive? What if today becomes the turning point, the moment everything shifts for good? How is every second now proving to me that I've already stepped into the reality I once only dreamed of? What if, behind the scenes, every piece is aligning with perfect timing? What if the entire field is reorganizing itself just because I made a decision? How is the truest version of my life becoming more real, more visible with every breath I take? What blessings are already on their way now that I carry peace, clarity, and unshakable certainty? What if every room I enter is already set up in my favor? What if the force guiding me never makes mistakes and knows exactly how to bring me home? What incredible surprises are already arranged for perfect delivery today? What if the universe loves showing off for me just to remind me I'm exactly where I need to be? What if the perfect people suddenly appear, ready to support my next move? What if the universe isn't just helping, but obsessed with making my dreams real? What if miracles are already scheduled into my day, just waiting for me to show up? Who am I now that everything I desire is already part of my reality? And what new experiences are already flowing to me in perfect match with my elevated state? What if I've already stepped into a new level of favor, flow, and fulfillment simply by being who I truly am? What if I'm already living in the reality where everything works out, fast, smooth, and perfectly aligned? How would it feel if ease and overflow became my natural state? No effort required. What unseen support is already guiding my next move before I even make it? What if I wake up tomorrow and life is even better than it is today? What if every yes I've ever desired is now echoing back to me from every direction? What would it look like to receive 10 times more than I imagined without lifting a finger? How is divine intelligence right now orchestrating everything for my highest good, my fastest expansion? What if, from this moment on, life consistently exceeds my expectations? How is everything I once longed for now becoming an effortless part of my everyday experience? What if invisible forces are already working behind the scenes, creating success on my behalf? What if all possible timelines are now collapsing into one perfect moment, designed just for my joy? What if support, solutions, and synchronicities are finding me exactly when I need them? What would it feel like if the next 24 hours brought undeniable proof of every truth I've claimed? How is my life continuously showing me that I'm fully supported beyond doubt? How is every message, conversation, and encounter aligning perfectly in my favor today? What if I've already become magnetic and the universe is now rearranging itself around my energy? What new levels of confidence, calm, and clarity are rising within me effortlessly? What unexpected blessings are arriving just because I'm finally in alignment? What if my success is now inevitable and nothing can stand in its way? What if everything that felt delayed was actually perfect divine timing? What miracles are already in motion, just waiting for me to notice them? How is my entire life aligning so smoothly with the timeline I've chosen? What does it feel like to live a life that gets better every single day? And what if the decision I made today to align has already triggered quantum-level acceleration, pulling my future into my present? How is my reality effortlessly rearranging itself to bring me everything I've already chosen? What if my manifestations now arrive faster, smoother, and easier than I ever thought possible? Which perfectly timed opportunities are already aligning just for my highest outcome today? How is the universe showing me every single day that I'm exactly where I need to be? Who am I now that life doesn't resist me but actively makes things easier? How is everything unfolding in ways that feel even better than I imagined? What if it's all already complete, and my only role now is to receive, enjoy, and witness it appear? What would it feel like if people responded to me with respect and admiration without even knowing why? What becomes available to me now that life itself is devoted to my success? What if the proof of this shift shows up so fast I won't even have time to explain it? What if life isn't just helping, but obsessed with delighting me? How did I so easily become the version of me who already has it all? What if everything meant for me is now magnetized to my energy and cannot stay away? What if the self who has everything is no longer a dream, but the truth? What if everything is already working out better than I could have planned? What if the identity I'm embodying right now is the one that changes everything? What would it look like if every area of my life upgraded all at once? What if the shifts I asked for are already in motion, appearing faster, quieter, and more perfectly than ever before? Who have I become now that joy is my default and everything flows in my favor? What if I wake up tomorrow and find that alignment has already transformed my world? What if the energy I carry is now attracting blessings I didn't even ask for? How is my quiet confidence reshaping every conversation, decision, and outcome today? What would it feel like if every answer I've been searching for simply appears effortlessly? Who am I now that I trust myself completely? And what if all I had to do was ask, from the state of it already being done, and just like that, it is? Let these questions take root. Your subconscious has already heard them, and the moment you asked from this state, you began shifting from within. Now, your reality has no choice but to respond. If you want to go even deeper, solidify this activation. Pick your favorite question, or create your own, and drop it in the comments below. Mine. What if my life is now overflowing with proof that I've become exactly who I was meant to be? That one hits different every time, and if you're ready to reprogram while you rest, there's an 8-hour sleep version of this entire process. Same powerful questions, layered with theta wave music designed to guide your mind into deep relaxation while hardwiring your new identity into your subconscious. You'll wake up aligned without trying. The link is in the description. Check it out if you're serious about lasting change. But wherever you are, walking through your day or drifting into sleep, let these questions stir something alive in you, because once you ask like this, from this level of being, reality doesn't negotiate, it obeys.